It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the two films of July 23rd, 2004, which coincidentally, the day that I'm recording this, it is actually July 23rd, 2024. And if you don't believe me, well, take a look for yourself. See? There you go. 11:37 on July 23rd, 2024. So while you might be seeing this on the 24th, or maybe later on down the road, note that this is being recorded 20 years to the day of the movies that we're going to talk about here. And we got two notable movies here to take a look at. So I've wasted enough of your time already, so let's go ahead and get right to it. And we'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend. It's Matt Damon returning as Jason Bourne in The Bourne Supremacy. This is a badass movie. I mean, this is the continuation from the first film, The Bourne Identity, and this film, even though it takes its name from the second Bourne novel, it's a completely different plot altogether, where you have Jason Bourne, a former CIA assassin suffering from psychogenetic amnesia. Bourne is once again played by Matt Damon, of course. The film focuses... I don't know what's wrong with me right now. The film focuses on his attempt to learn more of his past as he is once more enveloped in a conspiracy involving the CIA and Operation Treadstone. This one includes the Brian Cox as Ward Abbott and the introduction of Joan Allen as Pamela Landy. Carl Urban is also in this movie as well, and Julia Stiles is also back as Nikki Parsons, and Franca Potente from the last movie is back in here, although I'll just tell you right now, if you watch the full trailer for this, they make you think this seems like that she's going to be there throughout the course of the movie. She's not. She's usually she's gone within like the first 20 minutes, and yeah, that's... I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it... I don't know. To me personally, I didn't think that was a smart move to put that in the trailer, make it seem like she's going to be with him this time around, and really she's not. But then again, this is Paul Greengrass. When Paul Greengrass entered the Bourne franchise with this film, he took this series to another level. I mean, people relatively didn't know who Paul Greengrass was unless you saw Bloody Sunday before this, but this was the movie that really introduced him to the world as a action director. And you know, for a guy that had directed an independent movie around that time, and him tackling a sequel to one of the many attempts to create the next great spy thriller after in that same time we had Triple X and the last Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie, and this was the one that stuck by the most. And then here's the sequel where you get this unknown director at the time, and for the most part an unknown director, and he manages to take this series to another level. I mean, this movie is absolutely amazing. They do an excellent job of continuing the story of Jason Bourne, creating a lot of new twists and turns for the series, a lot of great tension-filled scenes like that scene I just mentioned before. I mean, there are so many moments in this movie that take you completely by surprise that you do not see it coming until it happens. Right from the beginning of the film, you're so hooked in because it takes you by surprise every few minutes by the decisions the film makes, and it just pulls all the stops out any way it can. The action sequences are really fantastic in this one. This is the one where they really do come off strong in this movie. You bring in, Greengrass's unique camera style that which to be seen later on in his movies. It works incredibly well here. The car chase at the end of the movie is really incredible. It's one of the best action sequences in recent memory. I mean, it's a great, great film in general. It's a great movie that has a very impressive sequel in a year where we had, Shrek 2, Spider-Man 2, and now this movie. When they brought in Paul Greengrass to really bring the series to the next level, they really changed the Bourne franchise around for the better, making the movies the more tension-filled with every passing film, more action-packed, more story-driven, and all led by this great leading performance by Matt Damon as Jason Bourne. And for the most part, the series continued on that track, even with the next movie, The Bourne Ultimatum. Kind of slipped off a bit once they brought in Jeremy Renner for the spin-off, sort of a spin-off slash prequel slash sequel, The Bourne Legacy. Either way, it was a terrible movie to begin with. That's easily the worst one of the series. And then they brought it back up with Jason Bourne at the end. And reportedly they're working on another one too, so with Paul Greengrass coming back as well as Matt Damon. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with that one. But The Bourne Supremacy really is a pretty damn good movie in a year where we've had so many good sequels. This is one that usually gets pushed off to the side with stuff like Shrek and Shrek 2 and Spider-Man 2, but this definitely should be up there with one of the best sequels from that year easily. It's a great, great film. I mean, honestly, I can't recommend it enough. If you haven't seen it, definitely check out The Bourne Supremacy, because you will not be disappointed by that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the last movie that we have here, a movie that could have easily killed Halle Berry's career, but as you can see from today's tweets, she's probably taken it in stride. I mean, she really is literally taking in strides today. But let's talk about Catwoman. Now, see, that trailer makes the movie look more awesome than it actually is, but, yeah, when I was doing the first DC Ember back in 2014, I was dreading the day I was actually going to have to watch this movie in full, because I did have the DVD when it came out. I don't know, I was kind of suckered into, I mean, who else would not be suckered into Halle Berry in spandex and cracking a whip and dressed up like a cat? I mean, what prepubescent 15-year-old boy wouldn't be in that situation? But, yeah, for the longest time, Catwoman was a movie that was floating around in development hell for a number of years, that had various people attached to it, ranging from Tim Burton, of course, Michelle Pfeiffer, who was Catwoman in Batman Returns. Ashley Judd was involved at one point, Nicole Kidman, and then it went to Halle Berry and a director called Pitoff, a French director who's best known for being a visual effects supervisor, because clearly that works so well. I mean, didn't you see how great it worked for the Strauss brothers when they made Alien vs. Predator? Which, by the way, this guy was a second-unit director on Alien Resurrection. We're already not in a good spot here. We haven't even gotten to the actual plot of the movie here. And the plot, it's a plot, all right. You can pretty much tell right away how bad this is going to be, but Catwoman is the story of shy, sensitive artist Patience Phillips, played by Halle Berry, and honestly, those words right there, I could just stop right now, because you can already see the problem with the movie right here, but for the sake of this, we'll continue on. A woman who can't seem to stop apologizing for her own existence. She works as a graphic designer for Hadari Beauty, a mammoth cosmetics company on the verge of releasing a revolutionary anti-aging product. When Patience inadvertently happens upon a dark secret her employer, played by Sharon Stone, is hiding, she finds herself in the middle of a corporate conspiracy. What happens next changes Patience forever. In a mysterious twist of fate, she is transformed into a woman with the strength, speed, and agility and ultimate keen senses of a cat. Again, I could stop at any time if I want to, because this sounds so terrible, but let's continue on, because trust me, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And by that, I mean not better at all. With her newfound prowess and feline intuition, Patience becomes Catwoman, a sleek and stealthy creature balancing on the thin line between good and bad. Like any wildcat, she's dangerous, elusive, and untamed. Her adventures are complicated by a burgeoning relationship with Tom Lone. Have you had enough yet? I certainly have had enough yet. I mean, I could stop right there, because this sounds like Stephanie Meyer garbage here, brought into a universe that shouldn't exist because Catwoman already exists in the Batman movies, but I digress. Tom Lone, played by Benjamin Bratt, is a cop who has fallen for Patience, but cannot shake his fascination with the mysterious Catwoman, who appears to be responsible for a string of crime sprees plaguing the city. Now, doesn't that sound nothing like Catwoman? I certainly hope so, because the writers of this movie clearly weren't aware they had 75 years of research material on this character and didn't do anything with it, because it's clear from this plot that this is nothing but made-up garbage that has nothing to do with Catwoman. You know how we have the Sony Spider-Man universe that technically started off not involving Spider-Man, the Venom movies, Morbius, Madam Web. Imagine that, but almost 20 years prior to that, and it's only contained to one movie instead of multiple movies that somehow keep getting worse and worse with every film. But I digress. I mean, it's not even the worst part of the movie, honestly. And where do you even start? Let's start with the names. Patience Phillips, Tom Lone. Tom Lone. Names that do not sound realistic by any means necessary. So why are they named these characters? Because, we have Alex Borstein from Family Guy in here. She has to be the comic foil, and she's forced to make a really unfunny joke about his last name, only to have it end with her saying Bone. I mean, I swear to God, the scene in particular would make even Lois from Family Guy lose her mind here, because it's that bad of a scene. Like, it's forcing really bad comedy here, but they take the story of Catwoman and just destroy it. There is absolutely nothing that is relatable to the character of Catwoman from any of the movies or comics at all, from the origin of how Catwoman came to be, which the trailer doesn't show you how hilariously bad she gets axed off at the beginning, because, no, she doesn't get shot like in the trailer, no. She's standing in front of a pipeline with water, and she just falls right into the water, and the way it looks is just amazingly bad. It adds like a stupid split personality story to literally having Halle Berry sniffing catnip like she's just sniffed pounds of cocaine, and those cat puns, man, they are just all over the goddamn place. And let's talk about the costume. Who thought that was a good idea? No mentally sound human will find this costume sexy at all. As much as they try to, they're trying their best. I mean, you got Halle Berry there, and even she can't make it look sexy. And I'm sorry, like, I love Halle Berry, man. I know this is going to be a bashing of her saying yes to this, but I will say some nice things about her by the end of this. I'm promising this. You're seeing my fingers crossed. I will say positive things about Halle Berry this, because there are things about her in this movie that I will say that are positive. But getting back to the movie itself, every character in this movie is stupid. Tom Holland spends way too much time figuring out who Catwoman is. Like, she's just like Batman in every way, when clearly she isn't in this movie. Like, the villain is so stupid because her plan is not really evil. She lies to herself right in front of Catwoman. The last scene of the climax, she literally says that as long as you keep using her makeup, your face will not get destroyed. 2 minutes later, her face gets so screwed up, so clearly the makeup isn't any damn good. The biggest problem this movie has is that it's one of those movies that's aiming to empower females. And there have been movies where you can empower females and actually have a good movie out of it. I mean, the first Alien. Look at what Ellen Ripley did in that movie. Look at what Sigourney Weaver's character did in that movie. I mean, like that's a movie that empowers females. The second Aliens movies. I mean, The Secret of NIMH is another great example. But here, one of the characters literally comes out and says that the reason nobody wants to listen to her is because of, and I quote, male academia. Somebody got paid to write this movie. Don't tell me that this is a movie that's supposed to feature a strong lead female character when you add a line like that into a movie. You know, at least with bad films like Red Sonja, Supergirl, Elektra, they were at least trying to provide good lead female characters, but they all had terrible scripts to work with. But this is just, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. And this makes Angelina Jolie in Tomb Raider seems like the most well-handled lead female character. That's how bad it is when Angelina Jolie's Lara Croft is a more likable character, likable lead female character than anybody in this movie. I hate when movies say that we're going to show that females can be just as great as the lead male characters can. And then we get stuff like Sucker Punch in the Spirit, where they're just there to be glorified for their sexuality, and that's it. I said it back when I did my original review, I'll say it again. When an animated kids show like My Little Pony Friendship is Magic has better lead female characters who are written as stronger, independently written female characters who act like regular people most of the time, that's how you know how bad it is here. I mean, yeah, it's amazing that it's gotten to this point. I mean, I think I've honestly pretty much said everything I needed to say that's bad about this movie. It just sucks so hard. The movie itself, there's not one good thing about this movie, but I will give Halle Berry this. I don't think she's bad in the movie. Like, I know I said her character's pretty stupid in here, but she is committed to the role. And whether or not she realized at the end of it, which I'm pretty sure she realized after it was done, it was just like, she probably regrets doing this. But then again, there's somebody who has having a lot of fun with it. I mean, just today, like I showed you the tweets. I mean, right there, she's clearly having a ball with this. I mean, when she won the Razzie for this movie, you know what she did? She actually went up and accepted the award. Like, yeah, she probably knows the movie is bad, but you know what? I give her a lot of credit for having a lot of fun with this whole idea. Yeah, I mean, it's like when Sandra Bullock won the Razzie for All About Steve. Yeah, she knew it was a bad movie, and she went there, because most people don't go to the Razzies to accept these awards, but you know what? She went there, she accepted her award, and, you know, a day later, she was an Academy Award winner, too. I mean, Halle Berry's already got her Academy Award. She's made many, many movies since Excuse me. Sorry, I burped there for a second, but she's made Halle Berry's made many, many movies after Catwoman that shows that this is still a really good actress. This was just a bad movie to star in. And she has starred in some bad movies since this, but, yeah. Like, it's not her fault the movie is bad. She is trying her hardest. I mean, it's not her fault the character is written badly. It's not her fault the movie is written badly. It's not her fault that this movie is what it is. It's just a really bad idea that just, you know, it's just a terrible, terrible film. I mean, what more do I even need to say about this film that hasn't already been said already? There is one more thing I do need to say, though. Batman, for the love of God, come back, please. Can we please get to next summer when you have when your big return to the movie comes? Because, man, we miss you badly, man. We miss you really, really badly. So yeah, that's Catwoman for you. And so with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. The next time we meet, we've got a big week of movies to end July off of 2004. 6 movies, including M. Night Shyamalan's The Village. We also have Denzel Washington, Meryl Streep, and Liev Schreiber in Jonathan Demme's remake of The Manchurian Candidate. The criminally underrated comedy Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Jonathan Frakes directing Thunderbirds, and 2 independent classics. Okay, I take that back. This next one's an independent classic. Zach Braff's Gardens Din, and the other is a very polarizing Spike Lee movie, She Hate Me. So, classic maybe not be the best way to describe that movie, but Garden State is a classic film, and I'll delve more into that on tomorrow's show, so don't forget to check that out. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the place on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So, with that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.